David Jeremy Wilkin was born in Byfleet, Surrey on June 6, 1930. His father was a businessman, and his mother was an actress in musical comedy theatre. As a result, Jeremy was introduced to the theatre world at a young age, and after failing a medical to enter the Navy and having second thoughts about training as a doctor, he decided to become an actor. Enrolling at RADA, he left after 1 year to become an assistant stage manager. This hands-on theatre training allowed Jeremy to continue his acting, and gradually his stage career began to take off, both in London and around the country. One of the plays he appeared in was directed by Tyrone Guthrie, who soon asked Jeremy if he would be interested in helping him establish a theatre company in Canada. Jeremy moved to Canada in 1953. There he met a classical singer named Mary Catherine Newland, whom he would soon marry and raise a family with.
Hi, Moose. Glad to see you waiting for us.
He continued his acting career on stage, screen and radio, and the move to Canada helped him develop his talents as a voice artist. His contemporaries on the Canadian theatre and television scene included Barry Morse, William Shatner, James Doohan, Patrick Macnee, and future Supermarionation voice artist Neil McCallum. However, when the Canadian film and television drama industry entered a financial decline, work had to be found elsewhere, with many Canadian actors relocating to America. Jeremy, however, took his young family back to England in the early 1960s, and resumed his British stage and screen career. He soon became a familiar face in British television drama in everything from Sergeant Cork to the BBC Sunday Night Play and armchair theatre.
The Martian invasion of this planet is complete. We have taken over more easily than we expected because our arrival on this island went unnoticed. Within the next hour, many of you will be exterminated.
On the big screen, Jeremy was cast as Inspector Ronay in the 1965 sci-fi horror sequel Curse of the Fly, although he later admitted that he wasn't particularly impressed by his own performance.
Curse of the Fly, my nightmare. I was terrible. I tried to do a French-Canadian accent in it, and I didn't do it well.
That will be very helpful. I don't mind telling you we've been unable to contact either one.
We're only too glad to help, Inspector.
Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow then.
I was really horrified when I saw that. I should have shut my mouth. Why? You make a real boo-boo and that's it.
Right.
That same year, Jeremy could be seen in the lead role of Drew Herriot in the ABC science fiction series Undermined.
If there were signals like the newspaper cutting said...
Signals from where? From another country?
I don't know. But it does seem as if someone's out to damage this country.
Weaken its morale, you mean?
Yes, it could be.
Sharing similar thematic ideas to those later seen in Captain Scarlet, the series focused on an attempted alien takeover of the Earth by a mysterious extraterrestrial power that could seize control of susceptible human beings, and then use them as agents in plots to undermine society.
We've got to go after them. You and I. Who else can we trust?
These diabolical plots included everything from wrecking the local church flower show, to brainwashing children via puppets, and even the most fiendish scheme of all, attempting to blow up the Eamon Andrews show.
Look over that box!
It was a damn good idea, but they made us go ahead when they only had one script. So from then on, it was hand to mouth. We would get to rehearsal, never having read the script in advance. First rehearsal was first read of the script.
Despite the show's interesting premise, a rushed production schedule and some strange story ideas meant that the series struggled to make the most of it, and Undermined limped to a conclusion after just 11 episodes. However, by now, a far more successful science fiction series was looking for new talent.
Thunderbirds are go!
Soon after production wrapped on Undermined, Jeremy's agents put him up for the role of Virgil Tracy in Thunderbirds. With Virgil's previous voice artist, David Holliday, having recently returned to America, a replacement was needed, and after a meeting with Sylvia Anderson, Jeremy was given the role.
Well, I've been in Canada for years, and I was working a lot in radio in Canada, and so it was very familiar to me. Peter Dineley was the same. He was Dad. I think he'd gone to Canada with the Air Force during the war, something like that. So he was our Dad.
We'll be over the solar station in 2 minutes.
Listen, Virgil, I'm making you responsible for any necessary on-the-spot decision. Is that understood?
Yes, Father.
Jeremy would voice Virgil for the 1966 feature film Thunderbirds Are Go and the final 6 episodes of the Thunderbirds television series that were filmed alongside it, as well as in the 1968 sequel movie Thunderbirds 6.
I've got a tiger in my tank.
Jeremy would never have to audition for the Andersons again, and instead became one of the core group of regular performers employed by their recently rebranded production company, Century 21 Productions.
Well, Captain Ochre, have we any further information?
No, sir. We've still got no idea how the Mystrons intend to carry out their threat to destroy North America.
In 1967's Captain Scarlet and the Mysterons, Jeremy would voice the recurring role of Captain Ochre. Although Ochre only spoke in 11 of the show's 32 episodes, Jeremy performed guest characters in many other episodes of the series, including Major Gravener in Treble Cross.
It's still almost impossible to believe I was dead for almost 2 hours.
Sid in Lunaville 7.
Good day, Captain Scarlet. Good day, Captain Blue. Good day, Lieutenant Green.
Andre Verdun in Model Spy.
May I welcome you all and thank you for coming to this little reception.
And, most notably, the human Captain Black in the very first scene of the very first episode.
Shut down motors. Maintain radio silence. Let's get out of here. No. Wait.
Away from the Anderson universe, he continued to make regular television appearances in episodes of Court Martial, The Troubleshooters, and the 2-part Man in a Suitcase story, Variation on $1 Million.
Well, you did a pretty good job there. Narrowed it down pretty well.
Your words to make it easier, fellas don't want to hurt you. Come on.
Other feature film roles throughout the 1960s included an uncredited appearance in The Dirty Dozen.
What was that? Down the road, sir. See that smoke? All right, Sergeant, have somebody take a look. Yes, sir.
And the police drama The Strange Affair. As the final episodes of Captain Scarlet were being shot, production was already well underway on the next Supermarionation series, Joe 90.
Good evening.
No.
But this time, Jeremy would not be providing the voice of any of the new show's main characters. Although he would be credited on every episode of the series, other commitments meant that Jeremy only provided voices in 16 of Joe 90's 30 episodes.
Just what are you insinuating?
Some of his more memorable guest roles here included General Tempest in The Race.
This is supposed to be a race, not a social outing. Get in and drive.
Dr. Dorota in Project 90.
We want to know who or what File 90 contains.
And Ralph Clayton in See You Down There.
Don't look so worried. Have a jelly baby.
Alongside Joe 90, the Andersons were now also producing a live-action science fiction film, Doppelganger, more commonly known today by its American title, Journey to the Far Side of the Sun.
Speed 12,000 reducing. Controlled re-entry. As far as I can see, sir.
Jeremy appeared in the uncredited role of a launch control technician, and can also be heard dubbing the voices of a few other characters throughout the film.
Excuse me, Colonel. Yeah, what is it? Over here, Colonel. Oh.
Matthew is trapped in the engine's all rotating most.
Rotating most?
Yes, that's the rotating engine bolt. You spell it E-I-N-G, Hengy bolt. Right. Now, this does a... Engine bolt.
Engine bolt.
Correct.
Right.
Now,
1969 saw the premiere of the final Supermarionation series from Century 21, The Secret Service. Jeremy provided voices in all 13 episodes of the series, including many guest characters and one of the show's main characters, the Bishop.
It will require a very unorthodox approach.
Launch stations.
As the Andersons moved into live-action television with UFO, Jeremy would be invited to don a string vest to play Skydiver navigator and First Officer Gordon Maxwell.
They were a marvellous idea. They really looked very, very good in the photographs.
Yes.
I think they're very
actually, and comfortable to wear, which is nice.
The character would never actually be named on screen, and unfortunately, several scenes that would have spotlighted him were either dropped or reassigned to other characters, leaving Jeremy little to do but shout orders in the background.
Dear 042, maximum speed.
It's quite small, but it was all, the workings of a submarine. The commander has all these things that he does, and he has periscope and all that sort of stuff. Well, I did. I always pressed the one I was told to do.
Yes,
didn't you?
Well, you probably. Yes, I tried to. I tried to in my in my way.
Low tanks 1 through 6.
Yes, sir.
In addition to the role of Maxwell, Jeremy also provided various voices for the show.
Straker.
Voice identification positive. Commander Straker.
Most notably dubbing the voice of Matt Zimmerman in the episode Exposed.
It's unbelievable.
And voicing various other unseen characters around Shadow HQ.
When is the next lunar launch possible?
At 1400 hours tomorrow, sir.
Jeremy would ultimately only appear in 8 episodes of UFO.
And don't look at me like that.
Before production on the series was halted by the closure of the MGM Borehamwood studios.
Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night.
His final episode, Confetti Check A-OK, finally gave Maxwell just a little bit of a backstory by establishing that he was among SHADO's earliest recruits.
Thank you,
sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
When UFO resumed shooting 9 months later at Pinewood Studios, Jeremy was among the many regular cast members who did not return to the series. Although he did sneak in a return appearance via reused footage from Doppelganger in the episode The Man Who Came Back, and continued to provide background voices.
Will you please be quiet? We're shooting.
His final contribution to the Anderson universe came with the role of Inspector Lars Bergen in Route 27.
Route 27.
The final episode of The Protectors to be filmed.
They're going to be looking for you, Mr. Rule. You know that.
I'm counting on it.
It is an emergency, you know.
If you knew Susie like I know Susie, you'd realize it wouldn't matter if it was a bloody invasion.
Which it may very well be.
Oh, come on.
Although he remained a familiar face in the theatre world, much of Jeremy's work throughout the 1970s saw him appearing in various television dramas, either as amiable authority figures or lip-curling villains.
Come on. We got no orders about these two. They'll keep.
I'm glad about that.
Oh, don't be. Get in our way again and you'll bounce.
Jeremy's lip would be put to good use in 1975 in another much-loved British sci-fi series, when he appeared as Professor Kelman in Tom Baker's 5th Doctor Who serial, Revenge of the Cybermen.
What are you doing, Kelman?
This is the stranger I reported. Calls himself the Doctor.
And because of him, our plan was advanced?
It had to be. He was interfering.
Although Jeremy admired many of the other actors who played the Doctor, including both Patrick Troughton and David Tennant, he counted Tom Baker as one of the best.
It was a marvellous experience, actually. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And it's mainly because of Tom, really, because he's an extraordinary man who, absolute dynamo of energy. It pours out of him all the time. He doesn't force it. It's just natural in him. And when he's in rehearsal, comes up with the most marvellous sort of creative ideas and things at the top of his head.
And in later years, Tom would also look back on Jeremy with equal fondness.
Yes. I remember when we were doing it, we used to admire that chap who played the villain. He had a wonderful curl to his lip, didn't he? When he used to say, I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No. That's in the past. Forgotten. I'm respected now. A doctor. I work...
You work for me. You always have.
Having not appeared in the original 1960s run of the show, Jeremy would be reunited in the mid-1970s with Patrick Macnee as John Steed for appearances in 2 episodes of The New Avengers.
Good morning, sir. Captain Forsyth. Commander, sir.
In 1977, Jeremy would briefly cross paths with Roger Moore as 007 when he played the uncredited role of Captain Forsyth in the 10th James Bond film, The Spy Who Loved Me.
Roger Moore. What a marvellous fellow. I'd never met him before. Roger set the nicest atmosphere in a studio I've ever encountered.
Although Jeremy's role was minimal, he can also be briefly heard elsewhere in the film as the voice of Jaws colleague Shandor.
Where's Peckish?
Pyramids!
What a helpful chap.
The same year, he also briefly appeared in the infamous railway safety short, The Finishing Line, which ghoulishly presented the effects of various railway-related accidents and injuries as if they were competitive events within a school sports day.
Broken window, green, 2 points. Broken window, 2 points. Injured passenger, 4 points.
You remember Rog Blake?
Oh, yes. He meant to fall.
Seemingly now intent on appearing in every major British cult TV series and film franchise, Jeremy once again found himself in a sci-fi setting in early 1978 when he appeared as the traitorous Dev Tarrant in the first episode of Blake's 7, The Way Back.
Did you get anything on Kessler?
In 1981, Jeremy could be seen as Gidney in the first 3 episodes of Kessler, the BBC's follow-up to their wartime drama Secret Army.
Take care. These Nazis can be quite unpleasant.
In 1982, he appeared in 7 episodes of the BBC series County Hall, and in 1983, an episode of Riley, Ace of Spies.
Doctor, this is Mrs. Riley. She's come to see Carol.
She's ill, I'm afraid.
Nothing serious, I hope.
It's hard to say. It would appear to relate to a postcard she received.
From Moscow?
Yes.
My husband sent it to her.
In the mid-1980s, Jeremy relocated back to Canada, managing to re-establish professional contacts from his younger days and continue his Canadian television and film career. This included a role in the 1986 low-budget family sci-fi movie Hyper Sapien, People from Another Star, the mountaineering drama The Climb, and the 1995 TV movie Freefall, Flight 174.
It's vital that people near the emergency exits are strong enough to operate them. I'm sorry, sir. The captain has put on the seatbelt sign.
Not to worry. Just using the lavatory. I'm an ex-RAF pilot. If the Luftwaffe couldn't get me, I'm sure CWA won't.
He also returned to the Canadian stage, participating in the annual Shakespeare Festival Bard on the Beach and the Stratford Festival in Ontario. One of his stage roles during this period was as the Duke in The Boys from Syracuse, which was taped and broadcast on CBC in December 1986.
He dies tomorrow at sundown.
RVX 674's only use is as a component of chemical weapons. It has no other application.
Jeremy's final screen role came in 2002, with an appearance in the Canadian drama series Just Cause. Once again, however, the Canadian film and television industry entered a decline, and Jeremy returned to England, first settling in Fulham and later moving to Hastings.
Thunderbird 1 to Thunderbird 2. Virgil, how about your ETA?
A-okay, Father.
Jeremy had first become aware of the popularity of the Anderson shows during the 1980s, and over the subsequent decades was happy to revisit his association with them by attending conventions on both sides of the Atlantic. He always spoke very highly of the Andersons and his fellow castmates, reuniting with surviving Thunderbirds co-stars in Leicester at Andercon 2015, and in 2016 he was reunited with his Skydiver colleague Georgina Moon for the UFO Blu-ray documentary From the Earth to the Moon.
You didn't keep your string vest, though?
No, I think it felt a bit... It's as old as me.
Jeremy Wilkin died on December 19th, 2017, at the age of 87, and remains much missed by friends and family alike. While the majority of the stage work he was most proud of in his acting career is obviously lost to time, much of his television and film work in both Canada and Britain survives to be enjoyed today.
Yippee!
These include notable roles in many of the most popular British television and film franchises of the 1960s and 70s, and are not limited solely to the Anderson universe.
Can you elaborate on that a little?
However, fans of the works of Gerry and Sylvia Anderson will always remember and enjoy his contributions to some of their most popular productions, where his skill and reliability secured Jeremy Wilkin's place as one of the key performers of Century 21.
I hope you keep liking it. We had great fun doing it, and I'm glad if you have fun seeing it and letting your kids see it, because a lot of you have told me that you want your children to see it because you enjoyed it so much when you were children. I do the same thing with my children, and I like that.